Betty Friedan shares, aging is not lost youth, but a new stage of opportunity and strength. Yoga can become a wonderful self-efficacy tool for the aging population. Self-efficacy, as we will learn during the training, is an essential quality in terms of successful aging. Yoga also offers an opportunity to explore the changing physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual needs associated with aging. Before we can integrate yoga as a solution, however, we must first define the problems concerning aging in the United States and the current crisis our healthcare system is facing. As we begin to explore the issues, we come to understand what truly is at stake. The current obstacles facing any senior seeking to age successfully include a diminished quality of life, loss of mobility, loss of independence, and skyrocketing healthcare costs. Let's begin with diminished quality of life and what this looks like. Life expectancy has doubled in the last 150 years. Thanks to great human health initiatives such as advances in sanitation, clean water, increased food supply, and basic preventative medicine, the current average life expectancy is 78.4 years. To put this in perspective, in the year 1900, the average life expectancy was just 49 years of age. However, although Americans are living longer, they are getting sicker. 4 out of 5 Americans suffer from at least one chronic condition. A chronic disease, as defined by the United States National Center for Health Statistics, is a disease lasting 3 months or longer. Chronic disease threatens one's ability to age in place and places a huge financial burden on the individual and nation collectively. These conditions can cause years of pain, disability, and loss of function and independence before resulting in death. Chronic conditions include heart disease, high blood pressure, stroke, cancer, chronic respiratory disease, diabetes, arthritis, and asthma. Obesity and a sedentary lifestyle are underlying causes of many chronic conditions such as diabetes and heart disease. A remarkable 45% of the United States population is projected to be obese by 2020. 90% of seniors have at least one chronic condition. 77% have at least 2 or more chronic conditions. 7 of the top 10 causes of death in the year 2010 were chronic diseases. 2 of these chronic diseases, heart disease and cancer, together accounted for nearly 48% of all deaths. Take a look at this graph. It depicts the leading causes of death among United States adults 65 plus. Heart disease is the leading cause of death, claiming 611,000 lives per year. Cancer is the second leading cause of death, accounting for 584,000 deaths. As we continue to move down the graph, we see that chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, also known as COPD, accidents, and stroke each cause in excess of 125,000 deaths per year. Alzheimer's, diabetes, pneumonia, nephrosis, and even suicide are also leading causes of death among seniors in America. Having taken a closer look at how quality of life is at stake for seniors, let's now examine loss of mobility and how this affects our aging population. The North American Nursing Diagnosis Association, also known as NANDA, defines physical and mobility impairment as a limitation in independent, purposeful, physical movement of the body or of one or more of the extremities. Approximately 1/4 of people suffering from chronic conditions cannot perform one or more of their activities of daily living. Activities of daily living is a term used in healthcare to describe an individual's self-care practices, both in the home and outer environment. They include bathing, personal hygiene, toileting, dressing, eating, feeding, and functional mobility. 1 out of 10 Americans, or approximately 25 million people, report that they have physical limitations as a result of one or more chronic illnesses. Arthritis is the leading cause of disability in the United States. Unfortunately, the emotional consequences of chronic conditions and loss of mobility are often overlooked. For just a moment, put yourself in your student's shoes. How would you feel if you couldn't get up out of a chair without assistance, or had to be driven to various appointments as you could no longer drive? The inability to perform activities of daily living often impair an individual's engagement with life and their family and friends. They don't want to be seen as a burden, As a natural consequence, they begin to isolate themselves, which creates further problems that we'll explore later in the training. We've discussed a couple of the obstacles seniors face in aging successfully, including quality of life and loss of mobility. Let's now turn our attention to the third obstacle, loss of independence. Age in place is a term widely used in aging policy and research. It refers to a senior's ability to age in their own home and community. In a study performed by Aging in Place in America, most seniors fear being placed in a nursing home and losing their independence more than death. 89% of seniors want to age in place. In the 2011 study, The Meaning of Aging in Place to Older People, the authors found that aging in place was seen as an advantage in terms of a sense of attachment or connection and feelings of security and familiarity in relation to both homes and communities. Aging in place related to a sense of identity both through independence and autonomy and through caring relationships and roles in the places people live. The study further purports that having people remain in their homes and communities for as long as possible also avoids the costly option of institutional care and is therefore favored by policymakers, health providers, and by many older people themselves. Seniors believe that the three main issues that challenge independence include health challenges, memory loss, and the inability to drive. There are other losses to consider as well, including the individual's overall health, intimacy with his or her partner, comfort, income, self-efficacy, freedom, cognitive function, mental function, self-esteem, self-control, hope, dignity, and others. A sedentary lifestyle poses an additional risk for the senior population. 1 out of 3 older adults fall each year. 1 out of 5 falls results in serious injuries, such as broken bones or head injury. The most profound effect of falling is the loss of functioning associated with independent living. According to the Cleveland Clinic, falls themselves are risk factors for future falls. Development of fear of falling because of feelings of unsteadiness or a fall can prompt an individual to limit physical activity. This may further perpetuate the cycle of inactivity, further reductions in muscular and cardiovascular tone, reduced oral intake, impaired nutritional status, and further decline. Falls can lead to unnecessary hospitalizations, reduced mobility, and ultimately institutionalization. We finish framing the issue with a discussion of skyrocketing healthcare costs. It's been proven that Americans are living longer. However, the extension of life expectancy from 3 to 8 years will add an additional $3.2 trillion to Medicare spending and $8.3 trillion to Social Security payments. Chronic diseases account for $3 of every $4 spent on healthcare. Medicare spending has increased from $37 billion in 1980 to $336 billion in 2005. Healthcare spending is expected to increase an additional 25% by the year 2030. In 2006, the United States healthcare expenditure was over $7,000 per person. This is twice the average of 29 other developed countries. We spend 75% of our healthcare dollars on people with chronic conditions. A 2007 study reported that 7 chronic diseases, cancer, diabetes, hypertension, stroke, heart disease, pulmonary conditions, and mental illness have a total impact on the economy of $1.3 trillion annually. By the year 2023, this number is projected to increase to $4.2 trillion in treatment costs and lost economic output. We mentioned that a sedentary lifestyle poses an additional risk for the senior population. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, also known as the CDC, reports that 1 in 3 adults aged 65 and older fall each year. In 2010, the direct medical cost of falls adjusted for inflation was $30.4 billion. Now that we have a greater understanding of the issues facing seniors and what is truly at stake, let's now turn our focus towards the concept of successful aging. Most biomedical theories define successful aging as the optimization of life expectancy while minimizing physical disability and mental decline. Seniors and baby boomers are redefining the way we age in America. They are looking to add life to their years, not just years to their life. Research has shown that by continuing an active lifestyle, seniors can add an additional 10 years to their independence and quality of life. There is a correlation between upkeep of muscle strength, cardiovascular tone, and the ability to perform activities of daily living. Physical activities such as weight-bearing exercises, balance training, and stretching help to target specific areas of decline associated with aging, thereby reducing the risk of functional deterioration. It's critical that seniors engage in these types of activities early, as a preventative measure, to preserve the strength and flexibility needed to perform their activities of daily living, maintain their independence, and to prevent falls. A longer active life as opposed to a longer life characterized by dependency and disability can only occur with adequate management of the chronic illnesses that often accompany old age and management of social and health behaviors throughout life, such as diet, smoking, alcohol consumption, physical activity, and a healthy environment in which to live and work. Yoga is growing in popularity and has the potential to improve strength, flexibility, mobility, and balance in older adults. However, few yoga programs tailored to the unique needs of older adults exist. Rewind Yoga was created to address this gap, and a pilot study was conducted to evaluate the effectiveness of the program on physical function parameters. Healthy older adults, 16 in number, residing in a retirement community, 55 and older, enrolled in a study examining the effect of Rewind Yoga on strength, flexibility, dynamic balance, and endurance as measured by the Senior Fitness Test. A single group design with 3 repeated measures at baseline, 6 weeks, and 12 weeks was used. Results from repeated measures analysis of variance indicated significant improvements in all measures of the Senior Fitness Test at 6 and 12 weeks. Rewind Yoga appears to improve flexibility, strength, dynamic balance, and muscular endurance in older adults. All participants took part in Y-Medica's 12-week yoga program, Rewind Gold. Classes met 3 times per week for 60 minutes. Yoga was modified to participants' needs. For example, it could be done seated or standing. The results were impressive. Students showed an improvement in lower body strength, upper body strength, lower body flexibility, upper body flexibility, agility, and aerobic fitness. Rewind Gold has shown to be beneficial for improving flexibility, strength, dynamic balance, and muscular endurance in older adults as measured by the Senior Fitness Test. This concludes our introduction presentation.